This is kvci.blogspot.com, George Boston Rhines. Considering the Quitman 10, the problems identified over in Douglas and Coffee County with the nooses being placed around a fireman's neck, the black law enforcement officer that must endure a black dog with nooses around his neck in the workplace, the allegations of voter fraud in Willacoochee, Georgia, the problems surrounding the Quitman 10 over in Brooks County, and the alleged intimidation by Georgia G.B.R, wherein Brooks County voters made allegations about this intimidation to the degree that they, and I mean blacks and elderly blacks, were afraid to return back to the polls in Brooks County to vote. Yet, the people of South Georgia and Southeast Georgia, many of them knows little about what is going on in their community. And so we must ask a question as we look at the clock. What time is it in the state of Georgia? How could it be that the reasons and justifications for the Quitman 10, as I've highlighted many times on YouTube, was because there was a spike in absentee ballots submissions? Yet, Georgia law has been in effect approximately 7 years that anybody but anybody can file by absentee ballot. You make the application, you fill it out, and it is what it is. And so if everybody in Brooks County go out and file by absentee ballot, there will be a spike in the number of absentee ballots submitted. In the case of the Quitman 10, we must ask, were both sides of the election, Democrat and Republican, equally investigated? These are valid questions. So what time is it? I believe it's time for the people's pain to be brought to an end. Willie James Williams died, an inmate in the Lowndes County Jail, September 2nd, 1998. And the family are still in pain because there is no end to the suffering we are told in this community. 15 black African American citizens were arrested on May 5th, 2005 for simply trying to get a part renamed from a person who discriminated against blacks. Our newspapers and our television stations, in my most humbled opinion, could have done a better job of reporting the surrounding situations about that part renaming, including the fact that whites also went to jail with us because they were on the right side of history. When a black minister running for the Lowndes County Board of Commissioners, let me repeat, when a black African American minister was running for the chairmanship of the Lowndes County Board of Commissioners and received threats at a local polling place, with a man being arrested, the black African American's name were never written in our local newspapers. It was as if though it was a whiteout. When there were 105 vehicles traveled to Hahira to show respect to the week of terror in Brooks and Lowndes County, wherein Mary Turner was lynched, had an 8-month-old fetus cut from her womb. The baby head was crushed on the ground, and she was soaked in motor oil and burned to a crisp. Yet, this was totally ignored by the South Georgia news media. We can only ask why such instances of great importance are ignored. It forces us to believe and question if the Quitman 10 can even get a fair trial on the Southern judiciary, where to my knowledge very few if any black judges are in a position of power. Therefore, we can only question if the Quitman 10 in their particular case will be judged and get a jury by a jury of their peers over in Brooks County, Georgia. We must ask a question. Why Judge Hugh Lawson ruled in 1997 to correct the 105 violations in the Valdosta and Lowndes County Jail, but after checking with the clerk of the court and the Lowndes County District Attorney and the Sheriff's Department, nobody has stated who was required and who made sure that that court order were corrected. We don't believe it was, because inmates are telling us they have the same problems in the Valdosta and Lowndes County Jail. In fact, at that time we had only had 2 or 3 deaths, but from 1994 to 2009 there has been approximately 30 deaths in that facility, and from 2009 to present, we are told by the Lowndes County Attorney that the Sheriff's Department is exempt from the Georgia Open Records Act, and therefore citizens do not have a need to know. We have challenged all levels of government concerning Section 3 and Title 6. Some areas dating back to 1968 when the federal government highlighted tools to be used to help empower and get the poor people out of the impoverished conditions in Section 3 areas, the disadvantaged communities. But that has been ignored for many years here in Valdosta and Lowndes County, we believe. But we are going to look into it, because we do what we do. We don't just want to go to church. We don't just want to go to synagogue. We don't just want to go to mosques. We don't just want to go to temples. We just don't want to go to the masjid under al-Islam and ignore the world around us, yet profess to the world that we are a follower of these great worthies. Jail inmates are still calling civil rights organizations, telling us about what's going on in the local jail with the medication, lack of medication, no real complaint forms, individuals being tasered improperly. In fact, some deputies are getting fed up and they're telling us off the records information and things that are going on within. And soon and very soon, you will know, as Paul Harvey would say, the rest of the story. This is kvci.blogspot.com. Bye-bye. We go.